big about discrimination and integration that is happening in the society, but we miss it big time inside the four walls. And this podcast is going to talk about discrimination and integration. And with us, we have Miss Gomathi SivaSankaran, a social entrepreneur and a proud ICCR recipient living in Denmark. Thank you and welcome to the show again, Miss Gomathi.
Thank you so much, Krutika, for your introduction, and thanks to all of you who are watching the show along with us. It is a puzzle. Discrimination is a puzzle, is the right word to use for me, because it's also needed for us to understand what is right and wrong. Even that is called discrimination. But at the same time, discrimination can be used as a weapon, unfortunately. So, when are you to discriminate? Is it right to discriminate? When is it wrong to discriminate? Is what makes everything about our lives and everything about social intelligence, our challenges in life, social challenges in life, all stem from this single word discrimination. And I think we have to explore layer by layer instead of just defining this. But just to give a short introduction into discrimination, it is a very important layer, a part of our society. I think we need to address that, recognize that it's existing, yeah, a layer, but that layer, when it goes above a certain limit, it disturbs the whole fabric of our society. Yeah. So this is what is my understanding, Kritika.
So you told that it is something that disturbs the whole fabric. Can you shed us some light with a real-time example that you have come across or your students have come across or your colleagues have come across that, it was so visible that it disturbed the fabric, but the intention of the discriminator was not to disturb the fabric. So it is more of a hidden thing.
Hidden thing, like, for example, I'm going to discuss about, discrimination starting from our homes. We always talk about challenges when we are, traveling, living in another country, or we also talk about challenges in the society where we are. But let's start at a basic level. Even at home, there could be discrimination happening, a layer, and that layer could also be called a part of the culture. Now it is even more tricky. It's a very tricky layer. So it's culture that's very important. But when the layer thickens to the extent, it's going to disturb the fabric, and then it becomes discrimination. We can look at a lot of examples. I'm going to take, for each of your case, whatever we are going to discuss, I will take one short storyline from my experience. Okay. And we
Sure.
will try to use that as a tangent to discuss further. So in this case, again, uh, a small disclaimer: whatever examples that I am taking from my own family, it doesn't mean that I'm not in. I love my own family so much, okay, but I'm taking that with due respect to them, because these are all very innocently done, isn't it? Yeah. So this very good example, I would say, was of me wanting to take swimming lessons when I was a kid. It was a huge debate. I'll tell you why. Because more of the swimming opportunities in the city where I grew up in Chennai, where in a public place or such, at least at that time when I was a child, and very less opportunities for female only or girls only opportunities, so very less, at least not close by where I lived. And my grandmother was adamant that girls should never be sent into a public place. Yes, funny enough, in my family, Me and my brother are the only two people who do not know swimming. My grandmother knows swimming. You know how she learned? They all lived in villages and close to nature. So there is no swimming classes as such. They just fell into the water and learned swimming. So for them, even my mom, my dad, we're all from, to be precise, we are very close to Kutralam River and the waterfalls. Yeah. So they were in abundance of opportunity to learn to swimming. For me, growing up in a city, I had to take a class, but for that I wasn't allowed for safety reasons, you could say. Yeah. So you say that it's culture based discrimination? Yes, it is, because she was a little bit uncomfortable of the way the things were set up in Chennai. Because even though women went for swimming in open places, I think if you have been in the village atmosphere, you know that there are also what we call as turai for women to take bath in the open side, and also men. So they had their own different spaces, privacy and such. So she was not so sure that the same level of integrity will be there in a city. Therefore she never allowed me. Very simple. So it's a very innocent decision, can we say? Protection. Yeah. So there's a family standard and it doesn't fit into the family standard, because over there when women are swimming, they have their own sari, they know how to tie it up in a manner and still swim. Here, if you are taking a course, you must definitely get into a proper swimsuit, which again was against the culture. So now, can you see that it's a very, very thin line between culture and the opportunities that somebody is missing out? And what is coming? The word is discrimination, unfortunately. Yeah. Does this help?
Yes, it does. Because these things are really not understood as discrimination, but
No, not
it
at all.
affects the life of the person who has been
Mm,
discriminated in the long run, whether they live in India or they live out of India. The effect is for a very long term, and unfortunately, these are passed on to generations.
mm,
So, yeah, it was a very beautiful and also sad example in your case for you to be stopped from utilizing an opportunity. So, this was an example from the cultural point of view. And could you please show some light on something called as indirect discrimination? I could also consider this as an indirect discrimination, but again, in the period of people who were raised in 80s and 90s, I think it was more of a direct discrimination. I think over the years, your brother might have had an opportunity to go for the swimming class, but you would have been stopped. So that there, I think it becomes a direct discrimination. But could you show some light on indirect discrimination even more elaborately so our audience understand that this is not something you're doing for the safety, this is not something
mm.
you're doing for the sake of society or culture, but you are stopping an opportunity.
Yes, I have tons of examples. Again, I'm going to start with my own family first here. So this is a situation that happened. It's real time. This was the time also, for the benefit of people who are listening in and wondering what this is. Computers were introduced in our schools for the first time. Everybody is wondering, okay, does it even happen? It happened once upon a time.
And can you
Yes.
please share
Yeah,
when
there
was
was a
the
world.
year?
I
Sorry for
think it
interrupting. Can you
was
please?
in the, if I remember correctly, it was in the mid 80s that they started discussing in our governments, at least, and the government schools or the semi-government schools were starting funding to buy computers and set up computer labs. I was at that time in the mid 80s. I think I was just getting out of elementary school, going into the middle school, you can say. So when the setup was happening, also families received messages that we are going to provide computer classes to kids, and there is something called a lab setup, and all this information flowed in. The discussion was happening at my home whether to get me involved in this or my brother involved in this. And at this point, I want to stop people and thinking that, okay, what kind of a family it is. My grandfather is a retired medical college professor, organic chemistry. My father is a chemical engineer. So I have lived all my life with organic and inorganic chemistry. So they are highly educated people. What do you think they are discussing? They are discussing between my brother and me who will get the first opportunity to do the course. Why at all? Safety for the girl child. So they decided not to give me a computer education. I think I was sixth or seventh class, like I said, middle school. My younger brother, he got, I think, where even in their school they were setting up, and I think he eventually got. He was the first one to be connected with something called computers then. I did get the opportunity when I was in my 11th class. I think by that time, in the 3-4 years, world also changed, and somehow both the men also were a little more agile and they were okay with the idea. So they eventually said yes to it. But look at the first opportunity that came along, when it was, and how it was taken away. If my father and grandfather are sitting here in this room, they would simply echo a word called protection. So they were not discriminating according to them. They were only trying to find all the ways to protect their children. And girl children needed extra protection is their understanding. I think from scientific point of view, if I remember correctly, the discussion that was going on, he was looking at the kind of stress a girl child will go through, because biologically she's getting into a teenage level. There are some changes happening which will happen in her body which will not happen in a male child's body to the extent it will. There is definitely puberty is something definitely all children go through, but there is a variation, and he understood that, and he was thinking from the point of view of that so much of lighting coming from a box, and a girl will be sitting close to it, and how much will it affect. I think they were scientifically deciding on why to what to. So they had tons of reasons on why they decided not to give me the opportunity. So it's not to give a opportunity, the focus is protection. So again, can you say that that itself, is turning into a discrimination that is not direct, never meant in that context at all. So this is one example I can share with you.
It is so different that the way we parents think for our children is completely different from what our parents and grandparents did to us, despite of the fact all parents want only good thing to the children, but
Yeah.
the side effects are like in a completely different way. And with the examples you stated and with my experience, I sometimes feel that discrimination starts because of the fear of losing something or getting into something that is not needed for the child or for the
Yeah.
family. How do you see
Yeah.
that?
I think it is, if I move away from the word discrimination and stick to what my parents did or grandparents decided, the word protection also tends to be overprotection. So can we call it overprotection or should we call it discrimination? Because it's all coming very closer. Can you see that already in this
Yes.
particular example if you take it? So it's overprotection. And every parent takes a decision. So this is a story that I told from my childhood. Now this is not a, the current worry is digital abuse and the use of mobile phones. I think that is that's also the issue that I am working on through my innovative learning center project for kids. So this is the issue, and there is always a screen time argument within each families. There is argument on, even if you are allowed screen time, how much of what kind of content are the kids watching? Should they watch certain kind of anime movies, yes or no? So look at the debates that are going on, and each house has this going on. So overprotection, protection, overprotection, discrimination, it's all in the same belt. Whatever each family takes a decision on how to manage the child is their own, but it might end up accidentally sometimes into the buckets that we are talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the two big branches of discrimination, and you shared your real time experiences. But these were the incidents that happened, but how did it affect you? Because that is the most important thing that I want to address to the audience, because we do something for the benefit of the child, but it affects them emotionally. So
Emotionally.
how was that it in your case?
I think these overprotection mechanisms and certain lingo that is used at home by default set into the brain of the child, isn't it? So it is still lingering in the background in my mind. So all the time, every time something new comes up with technology or any change that comes up, I have been struggling with that change in the initial days. And if you think of my life, if I have to just split it into two halves, I would really draw a line between the time that I decided to move out of these comfort zones and, starting to travel, work abroad, foreign countries, and so on. And before, if I have to make a sharp split, the earlier lives were really dominated by this thought process that came from home, that maybe it's not for me. So it could be great opportunity, but maybe it's not for me. So, pushing it away and setting up a comfort zone and saying, okay, if it is not 5 kilometers, more than 5 kilometers away from my home, maybe I will not take the job. Look at the thought process, the delimiting factors. That is, nobody told me to think like that, but invariably you set up a system in the head that whenever something comes up as a new opportunity, check whether it is, from a girl point of view, is it right? Or it's also good. I will also tell you some cases why it is good. But that really affected me until I started moving out and exploring the world. And I thought, because, sometimes you'll say, I remember taking a wrong bus one day and a big issue happened at home. Yeah. I went into from the school, you run, you just take a bus. There were 3, 4 buses standing. I missed it. I got into the wrong bus. I was finding it very curious because the houses were looking different, the places. As a child, I was having fun with it. And then I realized, I asked the conductor about the place, and then he said, you are in the wrong bus. He was also a little bit, calm, saying, anyways, it's going to hit the station there, then it will turn back automatically. So you can anyways, go back to the same place and then take the correct bus. So I did that, which means I came late. That huge Allahu that happened around the time was like, you should never have done it. But unless you make a mistake, you will never learn. You will never explore the other world unless you make a mistake. So, overprotection versus learning to make mistakes and learning from the mistakes, yeah, that balance starts going away. And I think for me, it was very difficult to adapt to the idea of getting out of comfort zone for a long, long time. So it slowed, can I say it slowed down the growth? Maybe if I had been, not tuned to this kind of thing, the growth would have been different. So you never know what kind of opportunity I could have had at a younger age if I had been more adaptive to the, different atmospheres and so on. So can you see what is,
Yes,
affected here?
I get your point, and this is what I want to tell to the audience, because
Mm,
as parents, we would try to give the best to our children, but it should
mm,
not be in the best interest of us, but it should be in the
mm,
best interest of our children. And
mm.
a small mismatch would affect them for life.
For a long
Yes.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So moving forward, these are all the examples where overprotectiveness or discrimination, howsoever we want to tag it, it
Mm,
happens inside the family. But
mm,
there are some soft bullies that happens outside,
mm.
but it is created from the family or
Yes.
among the friends or in the workplace. So could you please share some light on it?
Yes, soft bullying is a very important term for all the parents to understand and also for the children, everyone to understand basically, even if you are at a workplace. So it's often sounds like care or a joke.
Call it as a joke because I just told it for fun. Why do you want to take it seriously in the
Exactly.
comment when somebody questions back at those, silent pleas?
It looks like most of the time it comes out from the place of care or a joke. So how do you identify that it is soft bullying? So when it happens again and again, and this is also something that I am working on intensively in the Innovative Learning Center project, so how words can quietly shape your self-worth or reduce that also tactically. So, like for example, I'm going to take an example for something that happens to, I think, most of the people who are moving away from one country and living in another country. There is always a question in the, afternoon. Oh, you must be missing home. Where do you go? Yeah. It's natural lunchtime conversation also. You must be missing home. And it is care. First two times, yes, I did say that, yeah, I miss home. I miss my parents, these things. But slowly, steadily, when it is asked repeatedly, there's always one question: when do you go home? And I gave a constant one answer to all: same time, just like you at 4 o'clock. You see that, when do you go home is a very, very caring question, but it can turn into a soft bully because every day somebody is asking you this question, you will start feeling homesick more and more. You will not understand that you have keys to your home today, that you can actually reach home today in an hour or so. And that's going to set into the hierarchy of your thought process of, me not belonging here. Forget integration, it's never going to happen.
And I
It
think
will not happen.
integration should be mutual from either sides.
Yeah, it will never happen because you are thinking, I am not going home, though you have the keys to your home today, unfortunately. So these are questions that are gently put, when do you go home? When do you go home? And it comes from a place of care most of the time. But if it is coming again and again, it is also not appropriate. So I have an answer to them very politely. Same time, just like you. When you go home, I also go home. You have work, you go home. I also have work. When I finished, I will go home. Simple.
But now that you are an adult, you know the answer and you know how to handle the question. But when question like this is asked to a child who is living out of country or out of town or with a single parent, how do they handle it? And
I think
what should the
these
parents have?
questions, yeah. So the whole point of me starting social entrepreneurship and struggling with it, getting into innovative learning center project is that how do you celebrate diversity? What is the opposite of this? Then the questions can be, how do you make this place your home? Yeah. What all have you done to blend both cultures because you are more strong? You have adapted a new culture, a new country, and you've also embraced your own culture. So you have double, two things to enjoy, not one. So you say that I have more things to celebrate. I have Indian festivities to celebrate. I have Danish festivities to celebrate. I have more to celebrate. This thought process has to come in the minds of the kids that yes, actually, I have a huge gift. So the moment they realize that it's an advantage that they have two cultures access or more, I think it's going to be fantastic for the kids. They'll be even more confident in saying, yes, for this activity, this celebration, we do it, this, and this, and for this, they will be more creative. They'll be more happy. Make them feel happy that they have done something great by learning two cultures in the same go. So that's what. So celebrating diversity is what I always vouch for, and find a way to celebrate that. And again, another thing you can teach always, we always teach how X is different from Y. It's good to know how different we are. More differences we are talking about, more walls we are building between each other. Find out similarities. Let's talk what is similar. Okay, we make payasam. What is it made of? Rice, milk, almonds. Here, risalamand is made. What is it made of? Rice, milk, almonds. Look at the similarities. Let's talk more about the similarities from a child level itself. The more and more we discuss, it will feel like actually we both are the same. Then you forget the whole idea, or rather, understand and appreciate more of diversity, isn't it? Then it gets more easier. Actually, it's easier to teach the kids. You don't need to teach them. You say, wow, so you have access to so many cultures, so many languages. Then they are like, oh, yes, I am great. They're confident. So look how easy it is. The solution is actually so easy to this.
Yeah.
I
So
hope I
you,
answered.
yes, you did have answered and you have given an international example. And when you were sharing, I just wanted to connect it to an example within the family. Here we spoke about India and Denmark,
Yeah.
being us Indians living in Denmark, but in a family, a mother comes
Hmm.
from a different family and a father comes from a different family.
Exactly. It's so correct. It is so correct. I mean, that's what I find it very funny that whenever you're coming together in a marriage or a relationship, that same problem happens. Doesn't matter which culture you both can be from the same country, same even from the same road. Doesn't matter. Yeah, but two different houses have two cultural logic going inside, isn't it? A
Yes.
lot of nuances of even a very simple dal khichdi made. How is it made in your home? How is it made in my home? We can always have an argument about it, or enjoy that it's made in two different ways. So today it's your style, tomorrow it's my style. Then I have access to two, not one. So either we can argue over it or enjoy that. Choice is yours, isn't it?
we it was brilliant that we were able to connect it, because it is something that is happening global, and we should not think it is only the internationals who face discrimination, or people living in different
No,
regions
not at
face
all.
discrimination. No.
We do. Yeah. It happens in all the places. It's everywhere. It's a global issue. And that is also a reason why the projects that I am doing, I have connected it with United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. And these are really aligned with one of the challenges, key challenges, or one or many of the key challenges that UN is trying to solve. Yeah, gender equality is their goal number 5. Yeah, and reduced inequalities is goal number 10. These are peace, justice, and strong institutions is their goal number 16. I am just referencing them so that you can connect these dots to what we are making a change at home is actually going to have a global impact, and that's what is measured also by United Nations. Yeah, so it's so important. How do you reduce these inequalities? You start from home at a basic level.
So moving forward to the next question, I am going to
Hmm.
relate how children imitate parents. Say, for example,
Yes.
I am a parent who was raised with a lot of body
Hmm.
image issues, and I have a lot of body shaming complexities in me.
Yes.
And without realizing, I am passing on to my child. At some point of time in
Hmm.
my life, maybe when the child is like 7 or 8, I am seeing my childhood image of the shamed image in my child. So this is a scenario.
All the
So
time.
at this juncture, as a parent, what should I do first to help myself to come out of the discrimination that was created on me, and then how I help my child?
Yes. It's a very sensitive topic because food and culture are so much intertwined into our daily lifestyles. It's a very simple thing, but food, culture, clothing, everything you can say, and it starts at home at a very early level. Not even knowing that what they are doing is body shaming. Sometimes saying that if a child wants a particular color as a dress or something, saying it will not suit your skin color. you know of course you are concerned that she has to look or he has to look the brightest, so you want to choose the best. That's right, but you can always tell them that your choice is better, but tell them in a way that it doesn't put them down to show that it doesn't fit them. Yeah, and sometimes the most times when we meet even within the families, you've put on weight, or you're so thin. All these things we do say, uh, it's not. wrong per se because you're concerned sometimes at home that the child is not getting enough food or something, but you can always say that in another way for them to be conscious of more of eating healthy rather than telling them that they don't look good. So these are very very subtle words, but it ends up as body shaming, and that transpires in them that it's so easy to comment on other people also, because they do this whatever they see their parents grandparents doing at home, they will reflect the same when they go out into the society. So they say the same thing because they have learned that kind of adapted to that kind of mindset, so they do say that also. They don't know that it's body shaming. I will tell you a very very interesting thing. This is a, I think every Indian will relate to this. The name Krishna, who do you think of as an Indian? Or even I think globally he is so popular, many of you know who that is. Who is that?
He is a god who looks like a
Hmm.
child, mischievous, eating butter, and
Okay.
he looks blue or brown in color.
Do you know the real meaning of the word Krishna?
No.
It means the dark one. Okay. So the dark one. That's how. So naming itself has some color tonalities into it, but there is also a positive reason. In our, what do you call, Sanatan Dharma, you will see that the key characters are mostly represented in darker connotations. The reason also has to do with avoiding discrimination or celebrating a different color zone altogether. Yeah. So the dark one is celebrated so much, is respected, worshipped so much. So what is the thought process? Respect all colors. So you can see both the sides of this coin. Yeah. So we celebrate Krishna. We are also celebrating the dark one. We are celebrating the darker skin colors, isn't it? So there is a deeper connotation there. But again, let's look at the way we are referring to people, the dark one or the the lighter colored one, or the big eyed one or the big nose, whatever bodily thing, it turns out into body shaming so quickly. So you see the risk in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is also one example I wanted to put forth, because it was not meant to discriminate, it was meant to celebrate. But unfortunately, we took the negative side only. It has, every coin has two sides. How did we manage to take only one side and stick it onto our children? I don't know. But it's kind of, settled in. And I will tell you, these are real time examples from the children that I meet up. When I introduce colors to them, they say that the brown color is the color of poop and they cannot touch the color. Then I would say, it's very difficult, for them to have understood it as the color of poop, which means anybody who is in that shade is going to be invariably discriminated by the child. Look at where the learning has gone wrong. So I try to show all the things that are brown. There is a lot of brown in earth, nature, trees. Yeah. So without brown, how can you even think of real nature? So, and the chocolates that you eat are brown. Can you let go of all your chocolates? So instead of, saying that they are wrong, I put forth more examples of the more brown that they actually like invariably. So they don't have anything against. They're so, they're so transparent. Children are like that. They are like water. They can be put in any kind of container you want them to. So let them flow into something really beautiful. Let them look at all the positive aspects of the brown color, so that they are adapting to understanding that, hey, it could be great to be a brown. Yeah. So yeah, this is very important that we are very careful even at home in pointing to people, even from a care point of view. Like I mentioned, care protection point of view. If you want to say that you've got thin or you've got fat or something, try to maybe help them understand if they need any help with the food, or should they eat more healthier or something. Maybe that is the point. If that is a real care, I think it should come from there, isn't it?
Yes.
So help them out with that rather than pointing to the result that you see in front of you.
Yes. So all the examples, as I mentioned before, it was indoors, except for the example you shared about when do you go home. I'm coming to the same point again. Despite of the fact that you have given a lot of explanations on it, I want to insist on it over and again. So I'm coming up with this question.
Mm,
A child comes home and says to the
mm,
mother that this child
mm.
is not talking with me because of my skin color or because I don't have a fancy bag or XYZ reasons. How should a mother or
Yeah.
father react? Because whatever reaction they are going to give to the
Mm.
child, it is going to give it back to the society. Here, let us take the
Exactly.
Yeah, and here I just want to add one more point. Let us take into consideration that you are not accessible to the parent of the other child who didn't want to play with your child.
Mm.
So the
Play with
grip
the
is
child.
only
Yes.
in your hands. So in that case, what do you want the parent to tell to the child?
I am so happy that you asked this question, because I think a lot of parents take decision based on this alone. What you said is a very important topic in all the homes, at least the homes that I know here. If the child says, Mom, everybody has the same toy and I feel out of this group, the first thing that they do is to go and get that toy, a new dress, mobile phones, new apps, gadgets. You go on buying. I have a question to the parents first. Are you making your child happy, or you working on making the other children happy? Okay, let's say that your child has 10 friends and you want to make all 10 friends happier so that they can accept your child. So now you need to get the list of their interests of all 10 children and buy all the things accordingly. How practical financially is that? I'm also a finance professional, so I have this question. How much money do you think you can spend on 10 other children's interest? So my question is so simple, because I'm a finance professional. I want mathematics. Tell me, how much funding do you have to fulfill the goals and interests and wishes of 10 children? Can you? Okay, let's say that you are financially abundant. You can fulfill the desires of all 10 children of your friends. Fantastic. Still, when they are coming to the home to play, are they playing with your child or with the toys that you bought them? Why are they coming? They are interested because this house or this child has so many materials around. So the attraction is towards the materials and not towards the person. So what are you teaching this child? The more people you want to have, you need to get more materials. And that's how you need to build your society around. So this is what you're teaching, isn't it? So where all can this go? I will spend more. This is what the child will learn. Where is it going to go? As the child is growing, the child is learning. The moment I come and say that she doesn't like me because I don't have the same kind of, color of dress or something like that, you're going to get it and she will be happy. So that's how you make others happy. What is this going to go when they grow up? They will learn to fulfill others' desire, get money to do that. If they don't have enough, they will learn to beg, borrow, steal. Are you happy with the growth of the child in this angle? If you are, I am. It's your choice. As a parent, I am asking you this question. So, first of all, it's a very difficult thing to say no, and it's also very difficult to say no to a child. But I think the no has to be backed up with a reason. You deserve to be loved the way you are, my child, is what you need to say loud and clear to the kids. So, whoever loves you for who you are, I like you because you're so helpful. I like you because you're always there for me when I need you. These are the values that you want to teach them, isn't it? So, empathy with love, with the true love, whoever comes to you will stick with you. I'm having to, go back to my own Tamil roots. I'm going to say something in Tamil. We will try to translate in English for you. என்னதான் எண்ணெயை தேய்ச்சிட்டு விழுந்து புரண்டாலும் ஒற்ற மண்ணு தான் ஒட்டும். You know what it means in English? You can massage yourself thoroughly with oil and roll on a mud, but whatever sticks only will stick, even after applying so much of oil. That is the reality. So even if you are trying to impress others, I think this goes not for children. I have seen adults doing it. Forget children. I remember having in office space, there were discussions going on. Okay, he has bought a house that is 150 meters, whatever. So I must get 180. But you bought a house last year, and that's not a logic. I have to show that I can buy more than you. I can buy a better car more than you. I remember having many people having this discussion. The moment you get a promotion or something, oh, you must switch to a Audi. I don't know whether Audi is, or not to point at any brand. Any brand is linked to your work qualification and experience. You can have branded clothing, you can have branded things. I'm not saying no to that per se, but it has to come from the place of your own wish and your own capability, isn't it? Not because somebody said you need to get it. I have to get into a house to impress others. I need to get a couch to impress you. Then I don't think we are building relationships here. We are doing transaction. I am a business person and I can do transactions very well. But for me, transactions and relationships are two different sections apart. And this, you need to be clear first. Please do not blame the children. They are all kids. Please do not blame the children. First, it has to start again at home, that how are we behaving? What is our buying behavior? What do you buy? I want you to do your own small, simple mathematics. Okay? I'm going to give you some homework. Take your monthly transaction report from your bank account. I think you can do it. Take it, put it in Excel. I love Excel. So I'm going to give you that. So I want you to write, and don't publish it to anyone. It's for you. Write against each and every transaction that you made. Was it really for your own personal need, or it had to do with society? So I think you should have your own answer of how much percentage of spending are you doing because your society is requiring you to do it. Are you having a party because it's a societal requirement, or you are just having a party because you want to enjoy with some people that you like? So the reason is so important, and please do not lie to your own self. At least, be honest to your own self and see. And gradually, very slowly, next month, you do the same homework. Has it reduced? If you have been spending 80% on others, has it been coming down to 70 in the next month, to 60 in the third month, or so? So your habit is switching. Your child is also learning by observing from your actions. Agreed?
Yes.
So you don't tell the child, you cannot tell a child, oh, they should love you for who you are, and so on, and then you behave like this. You have to show in your actions that I accept friends who like me, who love being with me. I want relationship to be stronger because of these ethos and not because of material needs. So you demonstrate, starting with your bank account. You do your own math, you do your own change in the behavior, social behavior. Automatically, your kid is going to learn, and a few months, he or she will say that, I don't need that friend because they are into material things. They like the materials and not really me. There is no point in me being with them. So they will learn very swiftly from you the moment you change. I hope I have not intimidated your fans. This is a very important exercise. I think we need to start at home in our own behavior. Kritika, anything else on this? Do you have any other questions, lead questions on this particular aspect?
No, I don't have any lead questions on this aspect. We have covered a very important thing that I wanted you to talk about, because you are working with the children and you know what is that they are affected with, what are all the baggages
Mm,
they are starting to put in your baggage, is
mm,
what
mm,
an educator like you would know. And that was the reason why I wanted to do this podcast. And we still have a lot
mm.
more things to cover in this podcast, and I would want to do it as a series, as a next episode. And for now, please do the exercise what Miss Gomathi has given to you, and I think it is going to be really fun and enlightening, because I personally am a kind of person who says that I don't do anything for the sake of others. But I think when I sit down with the Excel, as you mentioned, I would
You'll have to.
at least get a couple of things that I am doing it for the sake of the society. So until we come back next time, please do the exercise, and let's continue next time with more discussions on discrimination and integration.